to my channel. So in today's lecture, we will be starting with C language. So when you're starting with the C programming language, this is your first language that what you're learning. So we will be starting with fundamentals only. Even though if you have learned some other programming languages or if you are in the process of learning programming languages, this tutorial will be very useful to you all. So let's see the objective of today's lecture. So we'll see why C language is so important. Then we'll see the history of C language. So let's get started. So it is worth to know about the C language. Oracle is written in C. So Oracle is one of the most powerful database management software and the most successful software. So the Oracle software is written using C language. So Oracle is one of the DBMS software. It is one of the DBMS software. So this DBMS software is designed using C language. Then core libraries of Android is also written in C. The most powerful operating system that what we use in mobiles, Android operating system. The core content, the core library content of Android operating system is written in C. Then MySQL, even this is written in C. Again, it's a database management system software, a DBMS software, right? So this DBMS software is again designed using C. Structured query language, MySQL, it is designed in C. Then we have the device drivers. So what is this device drivers? When we use our system, we use some hardware, we use some peripheral devices. So these peripheral devices, when we connect to the system, it has to get detected. So how it gets detected? So let me tell you an example. You take a pen drive and you just connect to the system. And immediately when you connect the pen drive to the USB port, it gets detected automatically and you can view the contents of your pen drive. How is this possible? So there must be some software which is helping this hardware, pen drive, to read the content. Only hardware is not sufficient. We require the software also. So both hardware and software is most essential. So when we connect the hardware, there must be some software which is going to detect that hardware. And these software, we call them as device drivers or designed using C. Major part of web browser is developed in C. Web browsers, we have Chrome, we have Mozilla Firefox, then we have Opera. So all these web browsers that what we use, it is developed in C language. Then Unix operating system is developed in C. In fact, C language was designed to create Unix operating system. So the Unix operating system is developed using C language. C is the world's most popular programming language till today. C is not outdated. The people who say C is not being used in any companies, they are wrong. Maybe they don't know the proper information. C is not outdated. C is being still used to do many kinds of programming. It's used in designing operating system. It is used in database. It is used in embedded system. So it has its usage in variety of fields. So it is not outdated. Then I can say many programming is done in C language. There are many companies who are still running with C language. The operating systems which is designed, it is done through C. The web browsers that what we use, it is done through C. Games that what we use, they are designed using C. Embedded system, so we use many machines which is embedded with small softwares, right? Even these small softwares that what we embed into a machine which runs with some computer instructions, they are designed through C. So a C language that what we are learning is not outdated, and it is used to do programming still today. So till now we just saw why the C language is so important. It is so important because it is used to design many softwares. So C language is being used to design many softwares that what we use in our day-to-day life. But when I talk about the C language in students' point of view, so it says the C language is used to build the programming skills. Of course, the C language is a powerful language which is going to improve the skills, programming skills of students. So what is this programming skills? So let's talk about this programming skills here. When I say you know the language, you know the C language, and if I just ask you to write a program to solve a particular problem, you know the language, you know the C language. You know how to write a statement in C language. But at the same time, you should know how to develop a solution for a problem. So for example, if I just ask you to write an essay in any language, maybe you're good at English, or maybe you're good in English, or maybe you're good in Hindi or any other regional languages. If I just ask you to write the essay in any language, if you only know the language better, but if you don't know how to build your content, then it's of no use. So language is not only the sufficient to build the content. You must have that skills in you to develop the content. The same way here also. If I just say, you know the C language, you know about the C language, you know how to write a statement in C language, it is not sufficient. You should know how to develop the solution for a particular problem. So if I just ask you to design a library software, so when I say library software, it's a very huge content that what you have to think over. You have to create many modules. Say there will be many modules, like you have to create some contents on maintaining the details of the books, transaction details. All these details you have to maintain as modules. So you have to think about what coding you have to do. It is not sufficient if you know only the C language. You should know how to develop the solution for a given problem. And that is what skill. So the C language is the basic language which is very, very powerful for the students to develop their skills. So how you can develop that skills? How you can design the coding for your program? You have to try with many programs. You have to try different methods for a particular problem. You say you have a problem, and for a given problem you can have many solutions. So you should be able to design those solutions. You should have the thinking skills, you should have the designing skills in you to develop different methods, develop different programs. And that is what developing skills. So what I'm going to say here is, you must have that developing skills in you. So that developing skills can be incorporated with you, can be built in you when you learn C language. So if I just say the C language is so important in students' point of view, means you can get the programming skills. You can build your programming skills. Secondly, it covers the basic features of all programming languages. Basic features. When you learn the basic features in C language, these basic features can be carried into all other programming languages also. See some basic features, like we talk about keyword, we talk about variables, we talk about some loop structures, we talk about some conditional statements. So all these are basic things. So it may be keywords, it may be variables, it may be loop structures. So it can be anything. All these are basic things that what we are going to learn in C language. In C language, we are going to learn all these basic things. So when you are familiar with all these basic features, you can carry this to any other programming languages also. So let's get into the next topic of today's lecture, that is history of C language. How the C language actually came into existence. By 1960, many languages came into existence. Many languages. In that, the first language was COBOL. It is commercial business oriented language. The name itself tells you this was the language which was used to design some commercial applications. Only commercial applications. Then later, they started with some more languages. The next language which came into existence was Fortran, which stands for Formula Translator. So this language was specially designed to deal with some scientific and engineering applications. Learning many languages for many purposes. If they want to deal with commercial applications, they have to learn COBOL. If they have to deal with some scientific and engineering applications, then they have to deal with Fortran. So it was quite difficult for the people to learn different languages for different purposes. And they came up with a language called as Algol. It is a language which was designed by the influences of international committee, but it was too abstract. It was a failure language. Then they came up with a language called as CPL, Combined Programming Language. The name itself tells you Combined Programming Language means it has the combined features of both COBOL and Fortran. It was by Cambridge University. So when we say we have the combined features, obviously it is too difficult. It becomes more complex. Again, it's a problem for the user to deal with complex features. Then they designed BCPL, Basic Combined Programming Language. It is Basic Combined Programming Language. It was designed by Martin Richards, again in the Cambridge University in the year 1966. It says Basic Combined Programming Language. The name itself tells you it's a combined programming language with some minimum features, basic features. Again, a problem. A programming language with basic features, it can't reach up to the highest level. Then, a person by name Ken Thompson, who works in AT&T's Bell Labs of USA in 1969, designed a language by name B. So actually this language B was designed to write the coding of Unix operating system. So Unix operating system was initially started with B language by Ken Thompson, who was working in the AT&T's Bell Labs of USA. In the year 1969, this language came into existence. But there were some problems with this language. Then, Dennis Ritchie, who works in the same AT&T's Bell Labs of USA, extracted the features of B language and introduced the language called as C. So C language was introduced by Dennis Ritchie, again in the same AT&T's Bell Labs of USA in the year 1972. So the Unix operating system, which was designed by B language, was redesigned. It was incorporated with new features with the help of C language. So Dennis Ritchie took the permission from Ken Thompson, incorporated the features of B and introduced own features, new features, then designed this C language. So Unix operating system was redesigned with C language by Dennis Ritchie. So this is what the history of C language. So hope you have understood the importance of C language and the history of C language. So that's all for today's lecture. Thank you. So please do subscribe to my channel, like and share the videos. Thank you.